Hello, it's Pigsy. Okay. There you go, all done, all good. So, moods and OMADs and fasting. What you want to be aware of is your mood. So if your mood drops quite low, then you're probably due a refeed. You can either work through it, which is not bad if you've, well, it depends on your calorie deficit. So you know it's like switching gears. I've explained that, but I think I've explained that kind of ideology before, that kind of thinking, that you kind of, so like at the moment I'm driving along, I've picked up a certain amount of momentum and then I can switch gears. I kind of switch into a higher gear from nowhere. And so it's kind of similar in that you might be switching down gear to burn your own calories. But if you've been slowly reducing your calories down into a deficit, you've been losing momentum. And so your body wants a refeed. And it feels more like a hardship, and then you start to sort of become a bit sluggish, and your thinking's affected a little bit, and your mood's affected. Because your body's got its own consciousness, so if things are being deprived of food, then they're unhappy. And that feedback's going up into your nervous system and into your brain, and you're thinking, well, I don't feel that great, you know. There's a lot of stuff going on today, you know, you start becoming emotionally affected by things. And so when you go on big, long, prolonged fast, normally you probably would have a good feed before you start it. That way you can make sure you've got enough vitamins and stuff to come in, even though you might have be water fasting or something, and you might be having salts in there if you want to add your salts, whatever depends how long your fast is really. And so basically you get yourself your tank fueled up, and then the idea is you're just going to let it. It's going to, like I mentioned about building momentum, so your metabolism's gone up because you've eaten loads of food, and then as it starts to go down, your insulin drops, your metabolism's quite high, and then it starts to burn your own calories. But if you've got low momentum, changing across might be a bit more difficult emotionally. It's not impossible, you will adapt, it's just that you might feel like, Christ, it's really hard today, or you might just feel a bit worn out. I mean, it's a bit like water fasting as well. Once you start tapping into your fat reserves and break them down, you've got enough fluid. But there could be a point where, if you're in a hot environment, you're losing more fluids than your body can sort of hasn't anticipated, that it could have an impact, and you'll feel fatigue, or you might have issues where you get cramps, and that could be because of your electrolytes and to do with fluid levels. So you need to be a good natural listener to your own body. What does your body want? And what are your goals? You've got to meet halfway in the middle. So I mean, I felt low mood this morning, and it also didn't help when I come in contact with things that were negative. Like I read about somebody who applied in court wanting to end her life because she was raped when she was 17, and I don't know if she looked like she's only like sort of mid-30s or something. But I don't think, or maybe she's just 30, I don't think that's enough reason to kill yourself and have yourself. I mean, I understand she could have gone through all sorts of things. I don't know what happened to her. You know, maybe she's raped by a dad or something. But then there's other creepier cases with that chap who had his family in a cellar. And, but I think at the point the abuse went so far that it was just accepted, it was normalised. And you know, it was different, and also because there's children, it creates some form of stability in that. Even if it was created through sort of circumstances that, you know, for her were considered pretty evil, but she doesn't want to end her life. But for this person, they had some experience, it's traumatising, maybe they've had it loads of times, I don't know. And I just read that, and it was just sad. It just saddens my heart that you've got potentially a good woman. She's been abused and she wants to kill herself now. So that was that. And there was some other negative stuff like the Trump stuff and things like that. And there's a lot of the political stuff there. Like Jeremy Corbyn, is he George Soros' puppet? That's why he went on stage. And then these anti-Trump ralliers, or whatever they want to call themselves, and they seem to act the very thing they sort of try to pretend that they don't represent. So it's a sort of love-hate relationship. I think they're attracted to trying to be like the kind of their version of whatever they think this person is. They think Trump's like. They're not the polar opposite, because they just sort of spat in someone's face and did some other things. You know, I think someone supports it, it's their choice. And the other issues is somebody comes to visit your country, you can't go around saying don't come into our country and stuff like that. I mean, wasn't that what the idea the Nazis were like in the first place with the Jews? They didn't agree with the person, so they got rid of them. It's just you can't colour it black and white so easily and say, oh, that's good, that's evil, that person's bad, that person's good. Because if you do that, then, you know, you're good and you're evil aren't exactly the same as other people's version of the world, and that's, I suppose, all messed up. And the press don't help, they try to polarise everything. So it's not like, I don't really like his opinions, but his policies I agree with, or whatever, it's a mixture, no in between. So yeah, so when I come across this sort of stuff in the paper, it sort of irritated me and added to that mood, and I thought, well, I'm feeling so down about things, I've got this stuff going on, and I also realised, well, you kind of, maybe you're fasting, your tummy's upset because of whatever happened yesterday, it wasn't quite ideal, and it's sort of settled down now. I've had a little bit of a feed, and I'm heading home now, so within the hour I would have eaten all my food. I just eat whatever I fancy, to be honest. Eat till you're full, because some of my other 1 meal a days haven't been eaten until I've been full. I've been eating basically a fairly average meal. It's like having a meal and a dessert. That's it, really. So I've had quite an average thing, and I've just let myself tap into my fats. But if I've done something where I've triggered my insulin levels, it's not getting the right amount of energy. So something, and so the body can't resolve a conflict. It may make a sacrifice. So, say for example, I might have not been regenerating so well my body last night, or the brain, or may have tapped into a resource it wouldn't normally go into. So it may not have done its sort of the autophagy the right way, or something like that. It might be such a strange process. Just got to think of how anything noticeable. Not really internally. A bit tired. I did stay up a bit later, and then my mind sort of, I guess if it's in the negative mindset, drawing in on that, and then you've got this kind of like the background of subtle manipulation. It might want to push you to eating certain foods. So I had some flapjacks, which sort of get some of my energy back. It's got a mixture in there. I've got buttery flapjacks, so butter, I don't know, golden syrup, the oats. They're all kind of quite easy, quite soothing foods. And I've picked up some stuff. I didn't really into ready meals, but I got some Marks and Spencer's ones. So I just probably have a couple of them, to be honest. Normally I eat one, you have two. So I have two very different ones. But I'm also not focusing purely on sugar. I've had black tea up till now. I've avoided milk, because I think milk might actually be causing weight gain, because it has an inflammatory effect. It causes some other things. That's why people have it. They end up with phlegm and stuff. Mucus comes up the chest. It sort of causes an immune reaction of some kind. So I don't know why it has an impact upon breathing, but it does. Know anything else? Oh my god, what the hell? It's reversing on me. So I did some press ups yesterday, then I had a cold bath at night. So I guess the bath press ups are slightly different, because my feet slide quite far back, so you end up using your stomach muscles, pulling your legs inwards because you're at an incline, and you're also doing a kind of wider press up maybe than you might do. You might do it fairly close, but if your feet start sliding, you find your arms are more up in line with your face or your chin. So just a little blast of that. And the cold water that actually, as a biohack, it's slowing my heart rate down. So that way I can sleep. But if I had like a really hot bath, apart from wearing me out, it would raise my heart rate and blood pressure up for a bit before it would start descending downwards a bit. Yeah, well, the blood pressure definitely. It may create the heartbeat. It may be that it's more of because of the pressure being different, it's more stronger beats. It's got to make more effort, so it could be that it's the lower beats, but they're louder in some ways. Yeah, it's a bit like you can hear your own heartbeat. It's not because, I mean, usually when your heart's beating faster, but it's also trying to absorb more blood to do it in one go. So it's increasing the pressure in the push as well. So that's another factor. So it's good for detox though, a nice hot water bath. And it will cause your alters your circulation a bit as well. It's nice to adapt between different climates, different temperatures. So there's a kind of hack. You could like blast a load of weights and stuff before you go to sleep. I mean, if you've eaten a lot and you feel a bit sort of sluggish, or you feel a bit kind of like you've got this energy, I wish I burnt that energy up. You can do. You just do a lot of exercise, chill your body out, and then have a rest. And when you're asleep, your muscles will still be metabolising and healing, and your heart rate should be at a sort of normal level, so you can actually sleep. I've done it before where I've done a lot of exercise. I just couldn't. I couldn't have a restful sleep anyway. So this is Pixie signing off, and speak to you all soon.